Past 18 hours Greenwich Meridian time. This is news tonight on GHOne TV. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng, making the headlines in the next 60 minutes. Asanteman mourns as Mamponghene passes on to eternity at 86.
We met in 71. We got married in 74. I wish that he will be around forever.
2024 NPP flag bearer Boachi Jacko urges party leadership to suspend divisive thank you tour following 2024 election defeat. We go live with him on Insight. Galamsey masked for demonstration en route to Jubilee House amid tight security. Speaking of the presidency, Matilda Asante appointed as second deputy governor of Bank of Ghana. In business, Minister for Communications Sam George advocates for creation of independent financial control authority and the Bank of Ghana to bolster innovation in fintech sector. And elsewhere, Canadian votes in election as Trump repeats calls for nation to become 51st U.S. state. This is News Tonight. You're welcome. After this break, we begin shortly. Many thanks for joining us on this broadcast. My name once again is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Begin rather on the sad note. The king of the Asante, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, has directed the Mampon Traditional Council to officially observe the customary rites, including the ceremonial beating of drums. This is to formally announce the passing of Asante Mamponghene as tradition demands. The paramount chief of Asante Mampong, Dasibre Osei-Bonsu II, who doubled as the chief who is in second in command of the Asante Kingdom, passed on at age 86, reportedly died on Sunday, April 20, 2025. Here is a report from Ashanti Region's Isaac Justice Bidiako.
The Asante Bretio royal family of Asante Mampong formally informed the Asantehene, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, of the passing of Dasibre Osei-Bonsu II, paramount chief of Asante Mampong and second in command of the Ashanti Kingdom. A traditional delegation led by Queen Mother Mamponghene Nana Afrakoma Dufie conveyed the solemn news to the Asantehene at the Meshia Palace in accordance with Asante customs. The Queen Mother announced that Dasibre Osei-Bonsu II joined his ancestors on Sunday, April 20, 2025 at the age of 86. Born St. Oswald Jima Kese, Dasibre Osei-Bonsu II served as the registrar of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology before ascending the Mampong stool, where he reigned for over 2 decades. Following the announcement, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II directed the Mampong Traditional Council to officially observe the customary rites, including the ceremonial beating of drums, to formally announce the chief's passing as tradition demands.
The late Dasibre Osei-Bonsu II was a man who served, loved, was loved. Here is a tribute to his memory.
Saint Oswald Jimakesi, now Dasibre Osei-Bonsu II, was educated at Prempeh College and at the University of Ghana, where he graduated in 1972 with Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Political Science and Modern History. He became the registrar of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in 1991. After working with the university for years, during his youthful days, he was later installed as the Asante Mamponghene, which equally made him the second in command to Asantehene in the Asante Kingdom. Engineer Tapoku Agyaman, Direct Royal from Mensha Palace, shares the roles of Asante Mamponghene and explains his traditional responsibilities.
If you look at the Asante Kingdom structure, the Mamponghene is the occupant of the silver stool, and he is also the second in command to Otumfuo. He's the head of the right wing of the kingdom, and also in those times of war, he was the battle leader of Asanteman.
The Asante Mampo silver stool has a strong connection to the Asante golden stool because a late Mamponghene once gave birth to Asantehene. Therefore, traditional Mamponghene plays the fatherhood role to Asantehene, paying tribute to the excellent work as registrar at KNUST. Son of Nana Kwesi Agyaman, Nana Atapoku Agyaman described the Mamponghene as a gentleman who worked with integrity, a reason a possession was named after him years ago.
I knew him before he became the paramount chief of Mampong. So he's a very, very, very diligent human being, very meticulous, very dedicated to his work. I mean, both as registrar, when I knew him, he was very meticulous and dedicated. His dedication to his work is indomitable, and I think that has helped him. He's one of the best registrars the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has had. That's what I say, so I wish you well.
The Asante Mamponghene, despite his busy schedule as the second in command to the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, a member of the National House of Chiefs, Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, among others, Janet Dorothy Owusu-Sechere, Mrs. Nana Agyabeng, described her husband as a lovely person.
We've been married for 49, 50 years, I think. We met in 71. And we got married in 74. Our child is 46. So if you added 2-3 years, it's about 50 years. The fact that I'm still here means the marriage is okay. All marriages have problems, but it's a matter of patience, loving, and forgiving. I wish that he will be around forever.
Dr. Nana Agyabeng, the only child of Mamponghene, with Nana Agyabeng, described her father as a remarkable and amazing father.
Dasipur Emmanuel Agyabeng II, Daddy as I call him, is a remarkable person and an amazing father. It's been my good fortune that God chose him to play that role in my life. I adore him, my children adore him, and there is nothing that he will not do for me and mine.
The chairman of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs and a respectable member of the National House of Chiefs, Dasibra Osei-Bonsu II, champions preservation of Ashanti customs and tradition. His astute leadership has ensured the continuity of age-old rituals and the promotion of cultural heritage. Beyond his administrative roles, Mamponghene Dasibra Osei-Bonsu II is a symbol of unity, peace and progress within the Ashanti community. His unwavering dedication to the well-being of his people has solidified his legacy as a revered figure in the annals of Ashanti history. The Ashanti people celebrate the life and invaluable contributions of Asante Mamponghene Dasibra Osei-Bonsu II.
Nana, we nipa o dini nipa ho na wahumo broso edoso
ye wura ni ho a wona ye de wo ho nse ko base so tufuo ni ho no na wo ho a na se wo tre ye ma ene ni tra ne ne ye bia no ya de a anya de be du ba bia be kwa fa asudie sem ene wo hawo bia ba ye bo mpai papa ma no.
The legacy of Asante Mamponghene transcends time, and his legacy reverberates through the winds of Ashanti region, shaping its future with the echoes of tradition and honor. Dasibra Osei-Bonsu II, a guardian of tradition, a beacon of hope, and unwavering custodian of Ashanti heritage. The EIB network, made up of Ago TV, GHOne TV, Kasapa FM, Star FM, Ago FM, Ultimate FM, Ebusian FM, Empire FM, Radio 360, and EIB Digital.
Indeed, we mourn the man whose life imprinted immortality for 86 years, a life well lived in peace, humility, and dignity. We mourn together here at EIB Network with Asanteman. Away from that, governance analyst Dr. Frederick Odro has cautioned the youth to be careful of the things they wished for, following a rise in the number of Ghanaians who have expressed support for military intervention in politics if elected leaders abuse their mandate. This is according to the 2024 Afrobarometer report conducted by the Center for Democratic Development Ghana, CDD Ghana. The survey indicates that 51% of citizens believe the Ghana Armed Forces ought to assume control in such circumstances, marking an 11 percentage point increase from 40% in 2022. Conversely, opposition to military involvement appears to be waning. The proportion of Ghanaians who feel the military should never intervene has fallen from 55% in 2022 to 47% in 2024. But a governance analyst has attributed the cause for military intervention to weak political systems.
And especially the leadership is failing to the extent that people think that if we were under military rule, we would have been better off. But let me hasten to add that ignorance can also be a bliss. If you have not experienced it, you wouldn't know that we've had military interventions, not one, several in the country. And if you step back to analyze the effect of military rule on this country, it has rather set us back rather than helped us. So for people of certain age, it will be very difficult to convince any of us that it is worth experimenting with the military in governance. Because the issue is about accountability. And they are not accountable to anybody. They have fought through this fear of force to come to power. So they don't owe anybody any explanation. They do what they believe to be right. But then, if you look at all the ills that we talk about today, corruption, lack of development and all of that, it was even worse under the military rule than it has ever been under a democratic system of governance. So we need our politicians to be up and doing. We need to also educate our people about the dangers of some of the things they wish for.
But beyond this, we asked some Ghanaians on the streets, and this is their take.
Me, I prefer military rule to democracy, because I don't see the importance of democracy. It has opened the page for we the young to insult our elderly presidents, and it has given the parliamentaries and the ministers opportunity to steal us, to maltreat us, to treat us how they want. They don't want to follow our instruction. Now that we voted for them, I put them for where they are right now. So how do they need to maltreat me? So I prefer military rule to democracy.
The coming of Ibrahim Traore, there's a lot of development within a space of 2 years or so. So we as the youth, we yearn for those kind of this one rule because of these developments. And there's no corruption there now because of the military rule, but still there's corruption in Ghana now. So you can imagine. You have to follow their lead. Yeah.
Me the coming kwa the military rule anything. Ghana fund be aswording especially we mu example Boko. Tama Boko meteze Boko kontokwa na misha kete at the age of 6 years or 7 years na mete Boko kontokwa bibi kitwa bi okosia ho kwa na se kosia keke kra ho anomo komo dada no ntokwa ene obitumi ku obi kwa eto abonten ndi se military rule no ho a galamsey there will not be a galamsey soja for the mo chinkwati asem ntimi ameti we say I can say democracy any military rule there, military rule.
For me, I think democracy is the best. Why? Because democracy allows us to express our views and other stuff. But with the military, when the president, or let's say, if the president is a military guy, like let's say for instance Burkina Faso, okay, he is the military man who is ruling the country now. Whatever he says, you can't do anything about it. But in Ghana, democracy, they allow us to express our views as well.
One kasa GHOne, Lawrence, ebedi akunya 20 years. O started from Mamponghene Kufuor, Atamels, Mahama, and Nanado, Mahama Biemno. Compare years no. Na compare Lawrence in 20 years now, Buyana. Na yan shedi empuntu ayede. Aba. Ene de oman so yede ekwenenum. Nti wonu nyina ma yehu se soja amamuo de soja ni de na dwuma wo ya ne se wo yede. Ommo ye ho ban.
Whatever your opinions are, well, these are the opinions of persons we engaged on the streets. 51% of citizens want a military takeover if the elected leaders fail. This is what we are dealing with according to the 2024 Afrobarometer report by CDD Ghana. But let's engage security analyst Emmanuel Agyabeng on this particular matter. Many thanks for your time this evening. History hasn't been kind to us. We have witnessed coup d'etats, well, not my time, before my time, and we have seen the impact. This call that we are seeing are coming from many youth. Would you say is a misplaced call or a lack of understanding of where we have come from as a country?
Well, thank you for having me, and very good evening to your cherished listeners. I wouldn't say it's a misplaced call. When there's leadership vacuum, this is the kind of things we hear. I will not subscribe to a military rule any day. But what has democracy offered us? If you look at the fourth Republican Constitution and you do a respective analysis, I can say with confidence that we have not enforced the law, we have not been accountable to the people, we have not protected our natural resources for the benefit of generations yet unborn. And those were the ideals of democracy. And that was why we embraced democracy wholeheartedly. You recall Rawlings took the gun as a very young man at the age of 27 or 28 years because of economic mismanagement of state resources. Under our democracy, are we not witnessing the same things? When NDC was in government, the trumpet messages of the then opposition party, was corruption, corruption, corruption. When NPP won power in 2016 and took over power in 2017, whom have they prosecuted? And prior to NDC winning the elections, they were also crying corruption. Are processes in place to make sure that people who misplace our resources, because the essence of democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, are they being held accountable? Look at the ECG expose. Look at the Cocoa Board thing. So as citizens, when you see some of these pillages of the natural or the national cake, when we don't have roads, our health infrastructure is at risk, our educational infrastructure is nothing to write home about, what do you leave the ordinary citizens to do? So to me, it's a wake-up call for leaders. And I dare say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama dare no fail. Because if he fails, our democracy fails. Because he's the last beacon of hope on this experiment we are doing. It's a legacy term Ghanaians have given him. And it was so overwhelming, the mandate we have given him. He should just do the needful, protect our forest reserves, and save us from the menace of Galamsey. He should hold former government appointees accountable and make sure his own government appointees are held accountable and look at the needs of the ordinary Ghanaian. Today, since 9 a.m., I'm running on generator. Why? And I think we also need to explore technology and move away from thermal energy. I can understand why in Africa, and especially in Ghana, with the abundance of sun we have, we still rely on thermal energy to power our homes. So it's a case study we have to study and watch very critically, especially given that the young man next door, President Touare of Burkina Faso, the wonders he's doing as a military junta with no financial aid from the West, by using the little resources that Burkina Faso can generate. I dare say that today, Burkina Faso is the only country that have a satellite that can watch the entire West Africa. Not even Nigeria, our big brother. Look at the agriculture initiatives Touare has brought to Burkina Faso. In Ghana today, what agricultural policies can we boast of? It saddens my heart that with the arable farmlands we got and other natural resources, we cannot even feed ourselves. We get tomatoes from Burkina Faso, onions from Niger. So it's a wake-up call. And I think that until we hold our leaders accountable, until our leaders fulfill the needs of the ordinary citizens, we may be playing with fire. We may think this thing may never happen, and nothing is impossible. So leaders must wake up and do the needful. But to me, as a person, having witnessed military rule and democracy, I feel that democracy is the best system of governance. But if there's a leadership vacuum, I dare say that any disgruntled military personnel can wake up and take the Ghanaian citizens to support it.
Looking forward to leadership taking action, but thank you so much for speaking with us, Emmanuel Agyabeng. He is a security analyst. We have been engaged largely on calls for military rule in our country. After this break, we bring you insights and more. Stay with us.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICC, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter or host in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge but very affordable. Cost is really affordable. My experience with this EMI awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
Welcome back to the bulletin. This is News Tonight on GHOne TV. Time to bring you insight. The new patriotic party, reeling from its heaviest electoral defeat in 2024, now faces a fresh internal storm. One of the party's flag-bearer aspirants for 2024, Emmanuel Agyabeng, has broken his silence, calling on the party to suspend its ongoing thank you tour. He believes that what was initially intended to reconnect with the grassroots and rebuild the party's image after a historic electoral defeat is instead degenerating into blame games, internal wrangling, and deepening divisions. In a statement, the former energy minister warns that the situation threatens to inflict serious collateral damage on the very fabric of the New Patriotic Party. Now, I'm going to bring you excerpts of that particular statement signed by Boakye Agyabeng, and it says, the ongoing thank you tour, envisioned as a beacon of hope and a rallying point to reignite the spirit of our faithful and supporters, is unfortunately veering off course. What was intended to restore our party's shine and reconnect us with the grassroots is instead unraveling into bouts of discord, blame shifting, and internal strife. This regrettable turn of events threatens to inflict serious collateral damage on the very fabric of our party. More worryingly, it has steadily eroded the goodwill and trust we have worked so hard to cultivate among the Ghanaian people. In light of these unfortunate developments, I am earnestly calling on the leadership of our party to act swiftly and decisively. It is time to apply the brakes and reassess the direction of the thank you tour. We must pull back from what increasingly looks like an imminent collision course and chart a path that upholds the unity, dignity, and forward-looking spirit of our tradition. Carefully recalibrated approach, one that fosters genuine reconciliation, solidarity, and purposeful engagement, is urgently needed. Let us seize this moment to renew our collective resolve and ensure that the mission of the thank you tour is accomplished in a manner worthy of our party's proud legacy. So that's the statement from Boakye Agyabeng. We were built to speak with him, but we are unable to have him now. We will promise to bring you that particular conversation in a subsequent broadcast. The New Patriotic Party communication team member Kwesi Kwarteng has accused Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the party's 2024 presidential candidate, of attempting to whitewash himself from blame for the election loss.
Thank you. What understanding do you get? Is a thought to go and express appreciation to the people who, first of all, even gave you the mandate to become the flag bearer of the party in the first place, and to extend even the people who were behind you throughout the electionary period and process. But if you go there and it becomes a platform for more or less whitewashing and even to some extent shifting blames, you realize that it may not be necessarily in tandem with the overall purpose of the thank you tour. And it is the more reason why a lot of people believe that his utterances are in defiance, or it defeats the very purpose of this thank you tour. Yes.
Well, let's engage MPP's Director of Communications, Richard Ahyagba, for his reaction to these developments and to get the party's official position when it comes to these matters. Mr. Ahyagba, good evening and thanks for your time.
Good evening.
Yes, we are grateful that you could speak with us shortly on this bulletin. Now, a number of concerns are arising from your thank you tour. A number of things being said, with party faithfuls even suggesting that the blame game's whitewashing. What we are getting latest is from Boakye Agyabeng, which is calling you to put an end to the thank you tour. What do you make of a statement?
I read the statement. I think that there's a better way to approach it. The tour that is being undertaken is not born out of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's decision or any other person's decision. It's a decision of the National Council of the party. The second highest decision-making body of the party took the decision following the submission of the Professor Michael Quay's committee report. Following that submission, he thought that it was right for the party to make a national thank you tour led by the 2024 presidential candidate of the party, but mindful that all aspirants should join in and all party members should join in. So it's a party program. And so anybody criticizing the manner in which it's done perhaps is criticizing a decision of the National Council of the party, which is something that is against the constitution of the party, that as a member of the party, you be mindful to promote and uphold the decision of the party. So for me, I think that there is a better way for Honorable Bache Jaco to have and then he chose to do the way he's done it. I don't think that is okay. He's a member of the party. In my view, he has many different. We are in a rebuilding process. Many different ideas can be used. It's all a matter of putting those, making those right cortices, and they will be integrated. But to go public, issuing notes, rather unhelpful, larger efforts to bring the party together, it doesn't add to the process, takes away from the process. I would humbly plead that Honorable Bache Jaco reconsider his approach and work through the party structures and have some of these ideas become internally available for the party to integrate in our plannings. But to issue such letters, I don't think that if he were a national chairman of the party, I'm pretty sure that he would rather come to him and talk to him rather than issue such letters. So for me, I think that's what I'll say about that. To the extent that people have concerns about the call, I think that the forum would be to address it through the party structure, and I can assure anybody, including Honorable Bache Jaco, that the input will be taken good faith and where they are applicable will be integrated to ensure that together we build a strong party.
Now, Mr. Yagwa, a quick one. Moving away from the strategy and approach of Bache Jaco, if I recall exactly, and correct me if I'm wrong, on April 16, at the National Executive Council's meeting, where the Professor Michael Kwe report was made ready and presented to the council, it was the decision of the party not to make the contents of that particular report public. But over the weekend, what we are seeing are snippets by way of commentary made by Dr. Bawumia and even the party's General Secretary, which are echoing certain things that are being put to thought to be items stemming from that report. So is it not in line with the party's National Council's decision that Bache Jaco's statement follows, that some of these comments that are being said shouldn't come out to the public?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't say I disagree with Bache Jaco on the content of the letter. I'm saying that a better forum exists for him to do that. And he knows he's a very senior member of our party, is up to speed with our constitution and the responsibilities of membership and the rights therein. And so he knows to be able to make those inputs at the appropriate quarter. That's what I'm saying. That's agreeing what to be saying in the letter.
Party faithfuls are not happy with the recent comments of Dr. Bawumia, the party's 2024 presidential candidate. His comments largely about why the party lost. As a party, given the comments that he's made and given the commentary that are coming, are you seeking to have conversations about what can be said during these tours?
Well, I'm not sure what particular comments people are not happy with, but I've heard one, the effect that the fact suggested that we do some reshuffling. Requested.
Well, he mentioned that as a party you didn't listen. He mentioned the National Cathedral project. He mentioned the e-levy. He mentioned as well the cost of living crisis. He mentioned as well that prior 3 days to the election, there was an increase in fuel price that he didn't know about. And some of these comments have been seen by governance spokesperson on security and governance, another Akufo-Addo-led administration, Power Grid Boachi Dankwa, as blame shifting, Kweku Kwatson is saying the same thing. A number of party spokespersons have had cause to say the same thing about Dr. Bawumia.
On the report of my good brother, Dr. My friend thing. I mean, you can tell that is their politics. They are reading their politics into what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said, shifting blame and to absolve himself from any responsibility. He spoke in terms collective responsibility. So I was in the Western region where he said that we should. People wanted us to do a recap. People didn't e-levy that we did it. So he didn't exclude himself. But the point is that the matter to do with e-levy, you know, that there was strong, largely due to the NDC's campaign and demonization of the tax handle. So what happened as a result of that, and following COVID, was an issue of finding balance between maintaining and preserving people's livelihoods and protecting lives, and also and the thick of affairs when COVID was raging. You were here when the president asked that his approach need to prioritize and take every decision necessary to ensure that we all go through COVID safely. And you remember timeless words now that says that we know how to bring the economy back, but don't know how to bring people back to life when they die. And so that was his, let's do all we can to protect people and to preserve people's livelihood. And after that, we'll reviving the economy. And so that cost money. In order to bring back the economy, the e-levy handle was in the 2022 budget to be able to plug some of the holes that were created in our fiscals. So that was a difficult decision, but it was a necessary one to be able to bring the economy or to be able to make our obligations. And but unfortunately, the NDC demonized it, and instead of Ghanaians seeing it as a call to duty, a responsibility that we all must share to be able to bring our country to where it must be, it became a political issue, and such that the handle suffered. So we know that there was collateral damage there for us politically. And so, but the point is that you have a responsibility as a government to manage the economy and to manage the fiscal responsibilities that you have. And so we took that in to be able to make the country run. So that's a collateral that I think collectively must all own. That it was a decision that we made. We made that decision in good faith. There was no ill intent, but the consequence we must accept. If we didn't do that, the worst will probably have happened, and perhaps our economy will not be where it is. So the decision we took, we own the benefits, abilities, resources. And I don't think that Dr. Bawumia said anything in that presentation where I was in the room in blame to other exonerate himself, not at all. So if he gets party and Kusikwa in who, supporters of Honorable Kennedy Japan, if you hear them say that, and you see them to be advancing their politics, which is fine. But I have a responsibility to put a record straight to say that what he said, he didn't mean that. But if you insert your politics, then this will be the deduction which they are making.
Mr. Richard Agyabeng, thank you so much for speaking with us here on News Tonight. He is Communications Director for the NPP, and that does it for Insights. Let's do business news now. Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nate George, is advocating for the creation of an independent financial control authority under the Bank of Ghana to bolster innovation in the fintech sector. His tour over a number of local tech companies is looking at broader efforts to support and position Ghana as a leader in digital innovation on the entire continent.
If you look at the Reset Agenda manifesto of President Mahama, we spoke about setting up an independent subsidiary of the Bank of Ghana that will regulate the fintech industry. Because when you look at the financial tech industry and even a number of the verticals, agri-tech, health tech, you realize that innovation is very fluid and you need a certain level of agility to be able to keep up with innovation. The Bank of Ghana is a fantastic institution, but it doesn't have the agility in its current shape and form to match and keep with innovation. And that's why you need this wholly owned subsidiary of the Bank of Ghana to deal with innovation, have the agility that it happens. And when you look at countries that are leading in innovation, like Morocco, like the United Kingdom, like the United Arab Emirates, they have sandboxes that are regulatory and innovative in character. And these sandboxes allow for agility. They allow for agility, and that's something that is not your typical central bank operation. And so like you have GIPS, which does real-time, same-day clearing as an independent subsidiary of the Bank of Ghana, but wholly owned by the Bank of Ghana. I believe that we need to have a financial control authority that allows for fintechs and other vertical technology companies to test their products in regulatory sandboxes.
President John Dramani Mahama is assuring Guinean youth of his commitment to investing in their future. These President Mahama made known at the launch of the GHOne program, a strategic intervention aimed at reducing youth unemployment through skills development, entrepreneurship support and job creation. At the launch of the GHOne program in Kumasi, the President described the initiative as a deliberate effort to offer real opportunities for young Guineans to transform their ideas into sustainable enterprises. According to him, the initiative aims to create 40,000 youth-owned businesses in the country over the next 4 years.
At a ceremony in Kumasi, President Mahama outlined the GHOne program, a national strategy aimed at addressing Ghana's youth unemployment crisis through skills development, entrepreneurship support, and job creation. Addressing the gathering, Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opare Addo, urged Ghanaians to take full advantage of the program to build a brighter future for themselves and the nation. President John Mahama reiterated his commitment in solving Ghana's youth employment challenges by creating at least 10,000 youth-owned businesses over the next 4 years, with a particular focus on empowering young Ghanaians aged 18 to 35.
The GHOne program seeks to stimulate youth employment, entrepreneurship, and innovation across key strategic sectors of our economy. Through a nationwide selection process, we will incubate new businesses and accelerate existing ones. And so those who can apply are not only people who want to establish new businesses, but if you have an ongoing business and you can benefit from the GHOne program, you're also free to apply. And our goal is to create at least 10,000 Ghanaian youth-owned businesses every year over a 4-year period.
President Mahama also emphasized the program's focus on inclusivity, stating that 60% of all beneficiaries will be selected from among women, girls, persons with disabilities, and other marginalized or underserved communities. In addition, special priority will be given to youth from mining communities, ensuring that those affected by extractive activities benefit directly from the nation's economic transformation.
To the youth of Ghana, the GHOne program is your platform. To the youth of Ghana, the GHOne program is your opportunity to create, to build, and to lead. Let your dreams take flight. Let your innovations find expression. The future is not something we wait upon. It is something we build together, and we're going to do that starting today. To all our government agencies, the private sector, civil society organizations, traditional and religious leaders, and to all our communities, I implore you to let us unite behind this Ejumara initiative. Let us invest in our young people, and let us build a Ghana where no young person will be left behind.
As the program rolls out, all eyes will be on its implementation and the transformative impact it promises to deliver across the country.
Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this, and we have been joined via Zoom by youth activist and CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, that is in the person of Mr. Sheriff Gali. Good evening and welcome to the bulletin, Sheriff Gali. Now, the key priorities of these programs are clear. 40,000 youth to receive employment. What we are seeing is that government is hoping that 80% of the businesses will remain active and will survive after 2 years. We have 40% women inclusion. We have 15% annual revenue growth for participants. The objectives and performance indicators are quite clear. But for you, the implementation of this program, what form should it take so that we see it successful?
Thank you very much, and apologies. I'm just returning from Kumasi, so I just got to Accra, and I'm now going home. So that explained my background. Like I said earlier this morning on one media outfit, the whole of the Jumawura idea and the components in it are all amazing. I have been working with young entrepreneurs with the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs for almost 10 years now. And if you look at the needs of young people, key among them is access to finance, capacity building, and mentorship. So you would see that Ghana, these are the key challenges facing young people. And then the Jumawura program is also targeting that all of the components. So amazingly designed. But like you said, the implementation is the most important. And now we've launched it. It's like everybody is talking about a Jumawura. But the implementation is what we should be looking out for. And aside the implementation, how do we sustain this? I'm not too happy because I have seen government upon government coming out with programs. And so it is just program, and government is now concerning itself more with programming instead of doing sustainable initiative. So I would wish to see that Jumawura becomes a program, and like I said this morning on one media outfit, Jumawura can be under a program, an agency, not just a program. So this is what I'm looking at for. But for the implementation, I think that what we need to do is that the people that are going to run Jumawura, that is NEIP, they need to ensure that key stakeholders are involved, development partners are involved. And the reason I'm asking for key stakeholders, the ecosystem actors, the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, and the rest that are playing key role, is that we have the numbers. We know the young people. And if you want to support young people, government shouldn't concern itself with mobilization. Government shouldn't concern itself with capacity building. Academia is there to provide that kind of support. So we should rally the support of all ecosystem actors, from academia to the private sector actors, and that of the development partners. The reason development partners are also very important is that they bring to the table some sort of additional funding. Remember, the whole fund for the Jumawura is just 100 million. It's woefully inadequate if you want to really support all the young entrepreneurs across Ghana, even though it's a good commitment and it's a good call from this government, which I so much love. But if you really want to go into training, you want to go into grants, giving grants out, then 100 million may not be so big as we are seeing. So what the management of the whole program needs to do is that, how do we ensure that venture capitalists, how do we ensure that development partners come on board so that we can be able to raise this? Let's use the 100 million as a seed funding and increase it to over 1 billion, increase it to over 500 million, and then we can be able to reach a huge number of youth. But kudos to the government, kudos to the NEIP and the Ministry for Business Development for this initiative. It is a right thing, and we are hoping that we implement it rightly. Yeah.
Sure. Sheriff, thank you so much for speaking with us, Sheriff Gali, there, giving his thoughts on the Jumawura program. But after this, we have sports. Benjamin Yamwa joins me in studio with the latest in sports. Over the weekend, Liverpool, they won the league.
Absolutely.
Tottenham decided to scare them with that one goal start.
An early lead. Yeah. Unfortunately, Liverpool, they had no idea what was coming their way. But my highlights on that day was watching the players together with the staff stand in front of the teaming fans at Anfield and they blaring out their "You Never Walk Alone" anthem. It was beautiful. It was beautiful and amazing. They are champions. Congrats to Liverpool for having been crowned champions of the Premier League. But let's do some news in Ghana. And the GFA has secured a 2-year deal with 20 million Ghana cedis with KGL for the Black Stars. Speaking after the signing of the deal at the KGL head office here in Accra, the executive chairman for KGL Group, Alex Appel Dade, revealed the role played by the sports minister as Honorable Kofi Adams in securing this deal for the Black Stars.
The conversation I've had with the minister and yourself, I think the minister has pushed us to do more, and I'm glad to say that we've upped it. If it was in dollars, it would probably have been about 15-point-something million dollars, but we've upped it to 20 million cedis. So that's what we are committing. And we are committing this also. The last time was $1 million over 4 years. We are committing this over 2 years. So which means that we have increased double it with. So the minister has pushed us very hard to do this, reminded us about our responsibility as corporate citizens. So Minister, your push has borne fruits.
Now, still with the program, and the president for the GFA, Kato Kreku, speaking for the first time since his appointment as a CAF second vice president, expressed gratitude to KGL for their unwavering support and promised the money we put to judicious use.
We will put the resources to its proper use. My sector minister obviously is somebody who wants to ensure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Yes. So we will ensure that the resources are put to its appropriate use. We are very grateful, and clearly Ghana football will take a different pathway from today. Thank you so much.
And that should be it for sport. Back to you, Ma, for the rest of the bulletin.
Well, we head straight to the entertainment zone. Well, in his zone tonight is one we want to see justice indeed served. Peter Nwachukwu, the husband of the late Nigerian gospel artist Osinachi, has been sentenced to death by hanging. The Federal High Court in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, found Peter guilty in all of the 17 charges against him after parading 25 witnesses and video documentaries of abuse and aggravated assaults. Osinachi died in May 2022 after she was hospitalized from assault from her husband. Away from the entertainment zone, scores of protesters belonging to the Generation Rights Protection Society have arrived at the Jubilee House to submit a petition on the impact of illegal mining in the country. The petition that as well seeks the revocation of LI 2462 and demands that the president declares a state of emergency on Galamsey immediately. Joining us now is our reporter Isaac Abela. He is on ground. Have they finally submitted the petition, and who met them?
Yeah, right here in front of the Jubilee House. The petition has not been submitted yet. We just arrived at the Jubilee House. The conveners, Okateche Afrifa, who is the convener and the leader of this society, has addressed the media, but all his concerns is that they want 4 things from government. They want a revocation of LI 2462. They want an immediate state of emergency in the country. They want peace in Boku. Yes, and then they also want that they are also against government's move to deport foreigners who are involved in illegal mining. And yeah, so these are the general demands of the protesters here. So far, no violence has been recorded. No chaos has been recorded. The protesters are peaceful. The police cooperation here are peaceful. Even though the protesters are not that much, I can say on record that the police officers have overshadowed the number of protesters here, which is clear for everyone to see. Yes, and so I can say that the petition has not been submitted.